and welcome to day 6 of my 10 days of love for the month of February. And today we are talking about love is. Love is. So I was sitting here thinking about all the things that I've talked about over the last 5 days. And just to give you a quick overview, I've discussed things such as, by February being the month in which we celebrate Valentine's Day. And you guys know, just as I've said before, Valentine's Day is a big day in which a lot of Americans spend billions of dollars on gifts for the people that they admire the most, that they love the most, right? So I talked about that on day 1. Then I went into love being a choice, love being not instant. I talked a little bit about love having its ups and downs and a couple other things. But I never really clearly defined what love is, or even wrestle with the idea, can love be defined? Because some people will say that it can be, and some people will say that it can't. So I guess this would be clear if I was talking to someone at different levels in their relationship, right? So if I was talking to someone that just started to date or find that they love someone, they will tell you probably that love is this for them because this is what they need at that point in their life, at that current point in their life, right? If I talk to someone who's been dating for quite some time, they may tell you that love for them means something totally different than the newly together people. And then if I talk to someone who's been together for a decade or more, they will say something totally different from either one of the first and second groups, right? So I think it really just depends first, right? Not saying that that's the one all be all, because we're still trying to figure out, can love be defined, right? But I do know that depending on where you are in your life, love means something different to you. If you had to ask me, I think one of the things in my younger years that I probably would have said that I say now is that for me, love means security. For sure. Definitely love means security. And I think that that is something that is important to me, regardless of what stage I'm at in my life, whether it's a new love relationship, a relationship that's, we've been going at it for a year or two, or whether we've been going at it for 10 years. I want to always feel safe and secure in a relationship, regardless, right? Because with that, I feel that I can walk and not have to worry about falling down, and there's no one there to catch me, right? Or I feel that I can go to sleep at night and know that someone else has my back, right? Or I can go away and know that I don't have to worry about things not being proper when I return. Those are some things to me that's important. And I think those things are important to me regardless of where I was in my life or where I am in my life. But I also believe that if you had to ask me in my earlier years, unlike the word security, about what love is, because I wouldn't have been able to pick the right words, I would have probably just told you that love is indescribable. I would have been like, you know what? It's indescribable. I don't really know what it is, because I will almost feel that it was wrapped around a feeling or an emotion. And I'm not saying that you don't have those things. I'm not saying that you can't feel something tugging at your heart, like your heart is being, tugged on, or, if it's broken, it feels like it's literally being ripped apart. I'm not saying that. But what I mean, though, is that when you get past those warm and fuzzies, right? When you get past those things that make you feel good on the inside, you start realizing that love is describable because it means so many different things to you. It's just not the warm and fuzzy feelings that we get or the butterflies in our stomach. It's not just those things. It's the things such as the respect that person brings you, right? And I think that's something that people need no matter where they are in their relationship, the length of their relationship. You realize that love is about being in sync with another person, being in tune with another person. You ever been in a relationship with someone and you're speaking about something and that person was able to finish your thought or finish your sentence before you did, right? Or you already know what this person wants before they even ask about it because you know what they need in their lives? To me, that is love. That is the type of love that no dictionary, no internet search or Google search can ever tell you or define for you. That's some things that you have to experience on your own to really understand what it's like, right? Because we don't always get to experience that in this lifetime. Not everyone gets to experience that. Not everyone, right? Those are some beautiful, beautiful examples of love. It's just someone to be in sync with, someone to finish your sentence, someone to, know what you need before you even know you need it. You know what I mean? That's true love. If you also asked me when I was younger, I would probably tell you that compatibility is important, right? And I would probably even say that in the mid-tier relationship, compatibility is important. You want to be compatible, right? But then there's a time where things like compatibility, right, starts to not be as important because you start to age. And what I mean by compatibility is this. Like, for example, I'm a runner. Okay, I'm a runner. And I am banging on 50's door. I'll be 49 in March. So I'm banging on 50 door. Someone that I'm dating may not necessarily be a runner. That doesn't mean that we're not compatible in other areas. We're just not compatible in that area. And then as we get older, I'm sure that there will be some things that we're probably not even more compatible in, or we probably age differently in, right? And so when you think about it, right, when you think about compatibility, it's almost like you're talking about a puzzle that fits together. You want this person to like sushi because you like sushi. You want this person to like to travel because you like to travel. You want this person to want, if you're starting off fresh, you want this person to want 2 kids and a dog because you want 2 kids and a dog. You see how these things fit together like a puzzle, right? But when you start getting older, you start realizing that, you know what, you'll figure out your commonalities later. You'll figure out your compatibilities later. That's just how I see it. Now, there may be someone that says that compatibility is important to them. But again, everybody defines what love is to them, for them, by them, period. For me and my age, at this age, the compatibility portion of it is irrelevant to me because there are so many other things that outweigh the compatibility portion that is the furthest from my mind, right? I want to know, do you provide security for me? I want to know, are we in sync? You know what I mean? I want to know, are we in tune with each other? I want to know, do we have strong communication skills? I want to know, that you're gonna let me love you the way that you need to be loved. Those are the things I need to know. As far as compatibility, potato. We'll find something that we like to do together. Maybe we like bicycling together. Or maybe we happen to like, I don't know, fried calamari. I don't know. We'll find compatibilities. But to me, at this age, it's not that important. Another area that I realize that's important to me now that I wouldn't have thought about that was important to me as a young girl. And I think that this comes with maturity because of the way we see certain type of people, and especially women, the way we see men. I think as a young woman, if a man was being vulnerable with me, like totally expressing his feelings, totally just being just vulnerable, I'm not sure that I would have been willing to receive that the way that he wanted me to in my younger years, right? Because I had this impression of what I thought a man supposed to be and how I thought a man was supposed to behave, right? I had this impression because remember, We only know so much of what our eyes can see or what we've been through. And at that point, I hadn't been through enough to really understand life. I hadn't seen enough to really understand life. I hadn't seen that things in life will bring anybody to their knees, and men are no different. I hadn't seen those things yet in life, so I didn't know, right? So, as an older woman now, or middle-aged woman, now I want the love that I have or the love that I'm with to be vulnerable with me, because I want to know how when he's not at his strongest, right? I want to know when he's not at his strongest. I need to know when I need to carry him more so than before. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a very loving way, in a very, very loving way. You know what I mean? Um, I want to know if there are certain days or time periods in his life that he goes through spells because of maybe a certain day reminds him of something, or maybe a certain event reminds him of something, or maybe something reminds him of something that brings back memories for him. I want to know about those things. I want to know if that is the day that he needs to just be in bed all day, or he needs to just be by himself all day, or he needs to just take a trip somewhere by himself or whatever. I need to know these things. So I need him to have a certain level of vulnerability with me. And I'm okay with that, right? But I wouldn't have been able to receive that as a 20-something-year-old girl. I'd have been like, what do you mean you ain't having a good day? What's wrong with you? You a man, ain't you? You'll be all right. Get up and shake it off. That was my mindset. That was my concept of thinking because of what I thought a man should be. But we live and we learn. So to me, having a vulnerability, or because a woman, I feel like we are going to be a little bit more vulnerable than a man is. Even if we have a certain guard up when it comes to men, we're still going to be the more vulnerable one, right? Usually. Now, you may have your onesies and twosies here and there, but for the most part, we're going to always be the more vulnerable person. We're going to be more expressive than a man is typically, right? Which means vulnerability. But I just feel that when it comes to love and all that it really is, there are so many ways in which to define it. But like I said earlier, no matter what I tell you, no matter what I tell you as far as what my experiences are, no matter what you put into search in Google, and it spits out its definition of love or what love is, you will find several thousands of articles or blogs or whatever written about what love is or love is. There have even been movies where people have attempted to identify or describe what love is. But everybody's ideal is different because it means something different to everybody. But then on top of that, it means something different to you depending on where you are in your life, depending on your life experiences, depending on what you need the most, depending on what you've been through. I mean, and when I say experiences is one thing, what you've been through, what you've heard, what you've seen, like all those things, right? All those things that make up you who you are. Because if you're asking me, Yasheka, at 48, what love is to me, I can almost guarantee you that if you ask Yasheka at 58, that I will have some things that are different. There'll be some things that'll be consistent, but I would have added one more thing to there, or two more things in there that I wouldn't have added at 48, or 38, or 28, right? Like I said, there are certain things like security and things like that that's going to always be on my list, right? But there's some things that I look at them differently than I did way back when. And then I'm sure that moving forward, I'll probably look at them differently later than I do now, right? But that just comes with age, maturity, and people giving me grace, because that's what I needed back then. Because like we all do when you're young and dumb and don't understand a lot of things, right? That was just part of the process. So this has been my day 6, and just as always, I love coming here and speaking about dating and love and relationships. But as we continue on, with the 10 days of love. Please be sure to go back and watch the other videos. If you have not caught them, I will be sure to put them in the video, in the description at the bottom, so you can catch them, or at least link one of them so you can be able to catch it. But if you are not following me on in my Facebook group or on YouTube at The Art of Dating, be sure to do so. And you can also catch me, and make sure you go and follow me for some amazing TikToks and Instagrams. Follow me for some amazing Instagrams over at Coach_Yasheka. And I will catch you guys tomorrow for day 7. Have a good evening.